Well, Dr. Yamina Saheb is a lecturer and researcher at Sciences Po and a co-founder of the World Sufficiency Lab. She joins me now. Thank you very much indeed. Air conditioning, then, is becoming a hot topic, if you excuse the pun, especially in France. What are the issues here?
Well, air conditioning is the argument and mainly the only argument used by the far-right party in France. This is why it became a hot political topic. It's unfortunate because when you talk about air conditioning, you don't talk about the causes of the heat waves and the causes of climate change. And unfortunately, the other parties and the French media, they all fell in this trap. So all the discussion during the whole week, during the last 2 weeks has been about, are you against or in favor of air conditioning? And nothing about the causes of what has led us to this situation.
Do you think there's a case for making the cooling of places like schools, hospitals and care homes mandatory?
So there is a case for looking for reorganizing our society, the French society, the way we work, and including our infrastructure and including our buildings, and mainly buildings where you have, as those you mentioned, schools, daycares, hospitals, etc., to prepare them for the following heat waves that we are going to have. However, the first step to avoid stress on the grid, on the electricity grid, and to ensure that everyone has access to a comfortable space or a cool space in summer and warm space in winter. The first step is to work on the urban planning level, and then the building level with the sheddings, etc. In the urban planning, if you are in Paris, for example, you will see that we do lack trees in most of the places. And then when you look at the buildings, there are no blinds, there are no shutters, and all these little things will limit the time of the use for mechanical cooling. Mechanical cooling through air conditioning should be the last step. And what is wrong in the debate today is that they debate about the last step, and within the last step, which is the air conditioning, they look at only the existing air conditioning solutions, which use refrigerant that increase global warming, and which are also individual solutions, while we do have, for example, if you look at Paris, most of the buildings are, we do live in multi-family buildings, so it will be wrong and not possible actually to have individual air conditioning everywhere in Paris.
And I guess this is part of a broader strategy. We need to look at also better buildings, more shade, greener cities too, as well as air conditioning. Is it a case of trying to get a strategy that unites all of those things together?
Yeah, the strategy is to have sufficiency, which is all the measures that avoid upfront the demand for any mechanical or electrical solution that would consume more resources. And this is about shadings, about how buildings are designed, about how we organize our societies. So, for example, we could decide, it will occur at some point that we will decide that if we have heat waves, because we will have more and more of this kind of heat waves, that we stop the schools earlier. But when you stop the schools earlier, this means that you need to offer solution. So we should have places, cooled places, where families could go. And this means it has implications for work as well. This means that those who have kids should be freed from work to take care of their kids in these cooled places. And all this must be organized. And what is missing today is that we don't have all these first steps. That's the first step. It is sufficiency. It is about avoiding the demand for all natural resources, while ensuring well-being for all within planetary boundaries. Second step is that we will always need technologies. When we need technologies, they must be as efficient as possible, these technologies, and we should not lock ourselves in technologies from the previous century. We should look for technologies that allow us to avoid or limit the overshoot of planetary boundaries. And then the third step, which is about ensuring the supply of energy with renewable energy production, Because most people mix up. The argument is that because we have nuclear energy, so we have abundant electricity in France, which is not the case when you have the heat waves. So we have several nuclear reactors that are closed because nuclear power plants need to be cooled. And when you have heat waves, you have a cooling issue of nuclear power plants as well. So really, if we don't work on the first step, which is sufficiency, this is the one that will bring 70% of the savings and well-being. And if we skip this step and we go to the following steps, only technologies, and we select the wrong technologies, then we will lock ourselves in more deadly heat waves.
Yamina Saheb, thank you very much indeed for that.